Welcome to yoga, everybody. I'll have you start in a hero's pose, please. My name is Claudia. I'll be leading you through your practice today. Today's intended to be a really playful class, so practice with a light heart. We'll be doing some inversions, rather some arm balances, and just some playful flow. But just let's begin by getting nice and grounded. In your hero's pose, if this is uncomfortable for you, you can be in an easy pose with a cross-legged position. I'd like you to just round your hands over your knees and close your eyes. Take a moment, just tune into your breath. Just breathing in and out through the nose. And I invite you to bring your left hand over your heart center and your right hand just below your navel. And just start to notice yourself right here in the room on your mat. No matter where you are, just taking a chance to feel your breath, feel your body. And again, just inviting a nice light energy in your practice today. Begin by taking a big inhale through the nose. And exhale. Just feeling a little space at the bottom of the breath. And we'll get right into it today. I'm going to have you come to a hands and knees position. So hands right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. Just trying to warm up the spine and the shoulders, getting ready for a little bit of work. So exhale, round the back, gaze into the navel, slope the tailbone down toward the floor. And inhale, start to lift the gaze, open through the collarbones, just really take your time here, push down through the shins and the tops of the feet. And exhale, hug the navel in, push down through the palms, and again, try and look right into the belly. And inhale, take your time, really filling the lungs, opening the heart, make sure the eyes are open here, gaze up. And exhale, push down through the hands, pull the navel in, get strong through the core. And inhale. Exhale. And one more round. Big inhale through the nose. Really start to find that full range of motion in the spine. And exhale, push down through the hands. Get rid of all the stale air, stale energy in the body, and just stay there in the pause. Good, and return to a neutral spine. Just gaze down between your palms today. Today I'll be practicing with you for most of the class, just really demonstrating some of these postures. I'd like you to tuck the toes and lift the knees right up off the mat about 2 inches and have your shins hover above the mat. We're gonna get right into some core work today, just warming up the shoulders. Not a lot of muss and fuss. I just want you to feel your core start to turn on. And this is a lot. You can just bring the knees back down to the mat, but focus on trying to keep your shins parallel to the floor and a nice neutral spine. Good, starting to feel a little bit of heat in the body. You can stay here if you'd like. You can just keep your knees exactly where they are and just lift your right toes right up off the mat. Just start to feel the stability in your core here. Notice if things are shaking around, that's okay. If you're moving too much, then you want to just keep the toes on the mat. Just bring the right toes down if you lifted them. Keep the knees exactly where they are and lift the left toes right up off the mat. Strong through the core, push down through the palms, start to feel the stability in your shoulders. Good, and then bring the left toes down to the mat. Bring the knees back down to the mat, and then just sit back into a hero's pose here. Today we'll be working a little bit on our wrists, so I just want you to warm up your wrists a little bit here. You can just roll them out. Notice if there are any pops or cracks. Just kind of work through that. Notice if you're feeling any irritation in the wrist. Just be mindful as we go through our practice today. And then just coming back to a hands and knees position. Have your fingertips pointing forward. And initially, I'd like you to just rock back and forth a few times, starting to feel the range of motion in your wrists. So when you come too far forward, you'll feel the heels of your hands lift up. I don't want you to go that far. Just know where that end point is, keeping the palms flat on the mat. And then coming back to neutral. This time pointing your left fingertips to the left side of your mat, right fingertips towards the right side of the mat, strong through the shoulders, and this time just swaying left and right. Just a little bit, side by side. And again, just notice this range of motion in your wrists. Notice what's happening in your shoulders. Good, and then just coming back to neutral here. This time, leaning back a little bit, and then point your fingertips towards your knees. This can be a little awkward, it can be a lot. We're not gonna go too far forward. Try to get the whole palm flat on the mat. Keep your fingertips pushing down into the mat, and then just rock your hips towards your heels a little bit until you feel a stretch on the forearms. And then come back forward. This is a lot on your elbows. You can always bend them slightly. And then lean back a little bit, start to feel that range of motion. And then come back to center. And on the last one, I want you to sit back all the way onto your heels. Slowly let the palms peel up off the mat, fingertips as well. And then again, just shake it out. Just a little bit of blood flow into the hands. Good, then bring your hands behind the back, interlace all 10 fingers. Just give yourself a little back bend here, looking up, opening through the heart. Good, and then come back to center. Place your right hand next to your right hip, and then open up your left side body, gaze up, just a gentle side stretch here. Gently push the left rib cage over to the left side of the room, reaching the left hand up and over, gazing up if you can. And then switching sides, left palm on the floor next to the body, right arm comes up and over, reaching the rib cage open. Just gaze up, open up. Good, and then come back to center. And just come to a downward facing dog, please. Place your hands out ahead of you, tuck the toes, lift the tail, and just really stretch the mat nice and long. And go for a little walk here, left heel high, right heel high, just mobilize the body. Yeah, everyone's looking good. Spread the fingers really wide. Just get your body warmed up in the lower half here. You can sway the hips a bit. Good. Then really push back one more time. We'll just go through one round of A series, just getting a little bit of flow. Inhale, bend the knees, push the hips back and look forward. Exhale, step or jump between the hands, land light into a forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. And then inhale, rise. Arms out, back and up, look up, stretch up. Palms connect here. And exhale, swan dive. Just gaze forward as long as you can, and then come all the way down into your forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to a plank pose. Shift forward and lower down to your chaturanga low hold. Looking good. Inhale, upward facing dog. Take a moment, create a little back bend here. And then exhale, roll over the toes. Send the hips back, and downward facing dog. So getting our shoulders nice and warmed up today, bring some heat into the body right away. I'd like you to just pivot forward to a plank pose. Good. Shift forward, lower down to your chaturanga low hold here. Then inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, push the hips back, downward facing dog. Good, we're just gonna do that, a few rounds of that. I'd like you again to just pivot forward to a plank pose. This time, if you can, lift the right leg up, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga low hold. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, push the hips back. Down dog, good, pivot forward, plank pose. Left leg lifts, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga low hold. Inhale. And exhale, roll over the toes, back to down dog. Third variation here, do what's good for you. Inhale, right leg up and back. Get a strong three-legged dog. Try to keep it lifted as you pivot forward to a plank pose, and then lower down, chaturanga low hold. Inhale. And exhale, roll over the toes. Down dog, last one. Inhale, left leg up and back. Now try to keep it nice and high as you shift forward. Lower down, up dog, and downward facing dog. Push up and back, take a moment, really push the hips back. Feel that stretch in the shoulders. Let's warm up the hips here. Ready for just a low lunge? Just inhale your right leg up and back. And then step your right foot up by your right hand. And drop your left knee onto the mat. Untuck your toes. So initially here, I want your hands just framing your right foot and lean forward until you feel that stretch in your left hip flexor. Yeah, this might be enough. For some of you, you might need to tuck your toes and lock out the back leg and feel a nice long stretch across the left front of your hip. Looks good. Try to keep the gaze forward, maintaining here for a moment. Good. These look amazing. Everyone's so focused. Again, having the knee on the mat is plenty. Just make sure you're feeling that stretch. Feel the spine nice and long. Good. Then drop your knee on the mat if you lifted it. Place your left palm on the mat, and just place your right hand on the inside of your right knee and gently open up the hip here. The sole of the right foot might lift up. This might be plenty. If you want a little bit more, you're welcome to reach your right hand back towards the left heel, gazing back. Take a big inhale. Sink a little deeper on the exhale. Good. Come right back to center. Place the hands on the mat. Tuck the left toes. And then sweep the right leg up and back. Stretch back or reach back if you'd like. You can open up the right hip here. Lift the right leg up. Bend the right knee. Draw your right heel towards your left shoulder. You can roll out the ankle a bit if you'd like. Just a little mobilization in our joints. Pops and cracks. And then lock out the right leg, keep it lifted, rotate the right hip down, return to your downward facing dog. Take a moment in case you came off center, recenter the body, and then just working the left side. Inhale, left leg up and back. Step the left foot up by the left palm, drop the back right knee, untuck the toes. Yes. Lean forward. So again, you can be up on the fingertips if you need to. Palms can be on the floor. Just feel the stretch along the front side of your right hip flexor. And again, if you need to, tuck the toes and straighten the right leg. Just bring a little bit of intensity into the stretch, maintaining here. Good. If you do have the leg locked, really give the knee a squeeze and allow the hips to shift forward, gazing forward. Bring the knee down to the mat. Place the right hand on the mat and safely put a little pressure on the inside of your left knee. Allow the left sole of the foot to open up. Everybody's body is just a little bit different here, so please listen to what's healthy for you. But if you did it on the other side, try here to reach the left hand back towards the right foot. Reach back, stretch back, let the knee splay open. You can anchor yourself in the breath here. Take an inhale and exhale. Good, and then just return back to center. Plant the left palm on the mat, tuck the right toes, lift the left leg up and back. Good, keeping shoulders square, open up the left hip, bend the left knee. And again, roll the ankle out in both directions. Good, everyone's looking so nice today. Keep the leg lifted as you straighten the left leg. Rotate the left hip down, back into your downward facing dog. Strong push out of the shoulders. And then just flowing here into a chair pose. Inhale, bend the knees, push the hips back, look forward. Exhale, step or jump between the hands into your fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Hips down, arms up. Nice strong chair pose. Have feet together, knees together here, sitting down and back. So just warming up some twists. I'd like you to bring your hands at a prayer heart center. Relax the shoulders a bit here. As long as you have a healthy lower back, I want you to engage your core. Lean the upper body back, stay low, revolve to the right. Connect your left elbow outside of the right knee. Just warm up this range of motion. Push right hand into left, left elbow into the knee. Take the time here. Notice if your hips are rising up. Sink them back down. Stay low. And then come right back up to center. Take the time to lean back and then revolve to the left. Connect right elbow outside of left knee. Gaze up over the left shoulder. Find the full range of motion in your spine for the body you have here. The more you engage your core here, the more length you will find in your spine. Left hand pushing into the right. Gaze up. Come right back up to center. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Let it go. Stay with me. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, chair pose. Hips down, arms up. Good. So we're going to turn this in to a lunge pose. I'd like you to find a drishti. Keep it there. It can be above your head or in front of you. Shift the weight to the right leg. Lift the left leg up off the mat. Take a moment. Stabilize here. Keep your biceps by your ears as you gently shift the weight forward. And then lunge the left foot back, land on the ball of the left foot. Arms are overhead. Good, stay low, good. Lock the back leg out. Stay strong in your base. Engage your core. Initially, just a little back bend here. So cactus the arms, bring the elbows to about shoulder height, palms facing forward. Sweep the elbows back until you feel a stretch across your chest. Then start to peel the backs of your hands toward the floor, reaching the palms toward the ceiling, gazing up, just creating a little bit of back bend here, a little opening through the heart. Then come right back up to center. Inhale the arms up. Hands at prayer heart center. Good. If you'd like to join us, just bend the left knee, let it hover above the mat. We'll just do 3 of these. And lock the left leg out. 2 more. Bend the left knee, let it hover. And lock the left leg out. Last one, bend the left knee. Let it hover here. And lock it out straight and strong. To come back into our chair pose, I'd like you to bring your arms back overhead, moving through a warrior 3 variation. So try to keep a straight line from your hips to your fingertips. Lean forward, shift forward, push off, find a nice parallel line in your body. Then bring the left foot to meet the right, squeeze the knees, arms overhead. Great work. Keep the arms up, find your gazing point. Lift the right foot up off the mat. Lean forward so you can shoot the right leg back, landing on the ball of your right foot, arms overhead. Gaze this forward. Lock the back leg out, same thing here. Cactus the arms, draw the elbows back, reach the backs of the hands toward the floor. Just open through your heart space here. Make sure your core is engaged. Arms up, inhale. Hands at prayer. Good, stay low. Bring the right knee to 1 inch off the mat. Try to keep your waistline parallel to the floor. Lock the right leg out. 2 more, bend the right knee. And lock it out. 1 more time, bend the right knee. Just feel the muscles start to kick in. This is good. Then lock the right leg out. Arms overhead. So try to, again, keep that straight line from your hips to your fingertips. Then start to lean forward, push off the back leg, find that warrior 3 variation just for a moment. Bring the feet back together. Sit down into your chair. Take a big inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Whew, let it go. Separate the feet to hip width apart. Hold on to your opposite elbows here and just hang forward in a ragdoll pose. Keep the weight shifted forward. Allow the upper body to sway left and right, side to side. Shake it out, yes and no. We have all levels of yogis in here today, some beginners, some advanced yogis. All of it is welcomed, especially if you start moving into some arm balance work. So just take a big inhale. Exhale, release the grip. Allow the arms to hang heavily here. And then separate your feet to the edges of the mat. Your hands can come to the mat to support that. We'll be coming into Malasana, which is just a low squat. Heels in, toes slightly out, then just sit your hips down in between the hips. Now your hips down in between the heels, that is. Placing elbows inside of the knees and hands in a prayer heart position. So depending on your hip mobility here, your feet could be a little wider or a little more narrow. So just listen to your body. We're really looking for that length in the spine. So if you're having a hard time lengthening your spine, you can widen the stance. Just take some time here to really push the elbows into the knees. And the more you can get your palms, your wrists totally in line with the elbows, the more of an opening you'll get. Keep the gaze forward. Bring your right arm, reach it forward, and wrap it around the front of your right knee. Just place the back of your hand against, or rather the back of the hand along your back, and place your left elbow inside your left knee. Just open up here a little bit. Good, then right back to center. This time, place the left arm around your left knee, left back of the hand along your back, and again, put pressure of your right elbow inside your knee. Just look up and over the left shoulder. It's a little awkward. Nice gentle twist though. And then come back to center, ready to start working on our arm balance work here. So coming right into a crow pose. If you're experienced with crow, you're welcome to go right into it. If you've never done it before, I recommend staying in a Malasana squat, having your palms out ahead of you. Lean forward a little bit and just have your elbows on the insides of your knees. Initially, a big part of these arm balances, as we start to get comfortable with them, is just shifting the weight forward. So a little squeeze of the inner thighs against the elbows. Look forward ahead of you and just keep looking forward as long as you can. Just keep shifting forward until the toes feel light and then come back down. So that's how it'll start. Yeah. So actually for my beginners, try to look a little further forward. If you're looking down at the mat, try to look at the front of your edge of your mat. Nice, Mia, looks awesome. These look good. Beautiful, so initially just getting the hang of using a drishti. Yes, and also really pulling in your core. So navel hugs into the spine. There you go, Jeanette. Wow, look at all these fancy postures. Make sure to give your wrists some breaks. So if you're holding the posture, come on down at your pace, of course. And if you'd like to just do that again, feel free. If you'd like to work on a little bit more of an intense posture, you can just pop on up into a squat and place the knees on the backs of the elbows. The key here is to really use your elbows like a shelf. So make sure they're bent initially. This is version of the posture with the elbows bent. You can have the arms straight. It's a bit of a different posture. Initially, I just want you to use your elbows as a shelf. Gaze forward, shift forward, pull the navel in. Make sure you have a little bubble in your back. You're lifting through the spine. And sometimes just one toe feels light, and then the next toe feels light, and then get your toes to touch. So here you go, John. That becomes part of the last step. Getting toes to touch behind you. Beautiful, Sammy. These look good. And initially, even if you just get comfortable placing elbows on the backs, or rather knees on the backs of the elbows, and just start getting used to being in that posture, very nice. That alone can be just really, really a win. Yeah. Good. Nice, Audrey. There you go. Yeah, just getting your hips above your head. That alone starts to get you comfortable with inversions. So just give it one more try. Notice when your knees are outside of your forearms, you can squeeze your knees in a little bit. And that's going to give you a little bit of contact. Once your knees are right on tops of your triceps, it's more of the downward pressure, just like Jeanette here. Good. Reaching the heels up towards the buns. There it is. Very nice. And then come on down. Wow. You guys have got this. Release the wrists here. You can just roll them out. Another way to release your wrists is to find the little space between the bony part of your wrist and your actual wrist. There's a little indent. You can squeeze it, and you can gently sort of jostle your hand back and forth, gently pulling your hand away from the body. It can create a little bit of actual space in the wrist joint. So just listen to what you need. Good. And then coming into a side crow. So we prepared some twists today. Side crow is a really fun one. It can seem a little intimidating, but it's one that's actually pretty easy to set up. If you've never done it before, pop into a little toe squat here, knees pointing forward, but place your palms totally perpendicular to the body, so your hands are facing the outside edge of your mat. Initially, if you're a little too close, you can walk your toes to the opposite edge of the mat. Good. Make sure your hands are about shoulder width apart. Pull the elbows in so they're in line with your wrists, then lift your hips up, bend your elbows, and you're just gonna place the side of your right thigh on your elbows here. And that's initially how it starts. So lift the hips up, tuck your elbows underneath the right side of your thigh, and then just lean. Keep leaning. Gaze in front of you. Try and keep leaning until maybe one toe gets light and then the next toe gets light. The key here is to just be willing to allow the weight to shift. Nice, Andrew. These look good. Yay! It's an intense twist for a lot of bodies, so if you're feeling like your side is kind of hitching up, just give yourself a little break and come out. There you go, Mia. Looks good. As you get more comfortable with this, you can start to scissor the legs apart. There you go, Leslie. There it is. There we go. Andrew's got a beautiful example. His bottom right leg is extended forward, left leg comes up and back. Sometimes it's fun to just split the feet in opposite directions, just to notice for a moment what's that's just like Leslie's doing here. Nice stuff. These all look amazing. Yay. There you go, Sammy. Yes. Now, if you face plant, just know you're really close to the ground. So it's not too bad. That's great. So let's just switch sides. Make sure you pop a little squat. This time, rotate completely to the left side, fingertips at the left edge of the mat. Personally, I have to walk my toes to the opposite edge just to help you get the hips lifted and then really lean into it. So if you lean into it and just keep shifting the weight forward, eventually it's just like a fulcrum, right? You're just gonna start to lift the toes up really, really nicely. There you go, Dana. For some bodies, it's actually really hard to get the hip against the elbow. There is a version of this posture. In this case, on this side, it would be the left hip against the left elbow. That can be awkward for some bodies. For some, it's easier. But if that's the case, there's a version of this posture where your hip is actually lifted up. Yes, Dana, just like that. Perfect work. It's so hard for you to get your hip on the elbow. Yeah, it can just be one of those things. Nice. So if you are working on splitting the legs, focus on the leg that's against your elbows going forward, and the opposite leg going back. And initially, keep the knees together and just split the feet. And eventually, it'll translate into lengthening. There you go, Mia. Yes. Have a little fun with it. Again, if it's not your thing, don't worry about it. It's just a little moment in the class. There you go, Erin. Yeah. Do make sure your hands truly are shoulder width apart and the elbows are tucked underneath. That's it, Leslie. Good. You better believe this is a strong little oblique workout. There you go. And if you're looking straight down at the mat and it's uncomfortable, look forward. Try to at least look a little ahead of you. When you're looking straight down, sometimes the spine curves. Yay, there it is. You want to have a nice long flat back. So just give it one more try if you're giving it a go. There it is. Nice, Mia. Good. Beautiful. And then come on down, give your wrists a little love. Nice work. So again, this starts just by doing a little bit at a time. So if those felt hard for you, believe it or not, if you just do it a few times, you'll start getting the conditioning down. Let's give our body a little bit of a rest. So just come down here, sitting on the bum, knees together. Place your hands, or rather wrap your elbows, hands around the elbows, elbows around the legs, and start just by tucking your chin. Bring your forehead toward the knees. Engage your core and just gently pull your navel in toward your spine here. Really gaze down, just create a nice cat back. Take a big inhale. And really pull back on the exhale. All of these inversions, arm balances, they all require a certain amount of conditioning in the shoulders and the core. So again, just be willing to do what you can today. Lift the gaze, gazing forward. Please just round your hands over your knees. I'd like you to find a version of boat pose today that works for your body. So you can actually pull against the knees to help flatten out the back. You want to find a long, flat spine. As soon as we start curving the back, we start to lose the integrity. So keep the back flat and really focus on that. And initially just lean back until your toes float up off the mat. And again, shoulders back. Yeah, this could be plenty. Again, just find the version that works for you. Hands can come behind the thighs to support you. Again, use the pressure of your hands against the thighs to actually lift. Try to bring shins parallel to the floor. Great place to stay and hang out here. Chest proud. If you'd like, arms can come parallel to the legs. I recommend gently turning the palms open. That way it's a little easier to open through the chest. And again, this is plenty. If you want a little bit more, you can start to straighten the legs. Notice what's happening to your back. If it's curving, back up a step. And if you'd like, your arms can come in line with the ears. You can make a little V position here and do what's good for you. Find it here and breathe for 3, 2, and on the one, just squeeze the knees back into the chest, nice and controlled. We'll go for one more inversion here today. You can go all the way upside down, but that's really not the point. We want to set up just the base for a tripod headstand. So just turn around, come onto the shins. Yeah. And really make sure you set it up. So we did do a video for a whole headstand setup and made sure you can find the top of your head and all of that. I'll go through it briefly here. Take the heel of your hand and place it right between your eyes. Palm of your hand will be on your forehead, and wherever your middle finger, the tip of your middle finger arrives, that's the top of your head. And you want to make sure that that's where you're getting pressure on the floor, not any further forward, because that's the tendency, and then we crunch our neck. So make sure you can just like push it there, you can feel it and remember it, and then let it go. And then come down to the mat and hold on to your opposite elbows ahead of you. If this is a bit much, you could just watch, learn, but just hold on to the elbows and at least try and find a base today. So we'll set up just like we're doing a headstand. Keep the elbows where they are. Let go of the elbows and interlace all 10 fingers like a little cradle, okay? That's exactly where your head is gonna go. The back of your head will find the back of wherever your hands are right now, okay? So tuck the chin, place the top of your head where you found it on the mat, and cradle the back of your head. But instead of setting up for headstand here, I want you to look where your right elbow is and place your hand there. And look at where your left elbow is and place your left palm there. Yep, so you should be palm right where your elbow is. You're letting go of your head. Place your left hand where your left elbow is. Your elbow should be in about a right angle here. Make sure your chin is tucked. So this is just getting you comfortable having some pressure on your head. Tuck your toes and start to lift your hip or your knees up off the mat. This is that same core strength we started off in the beginning of the class with a knee hover. And this can be plenty, truly. If this is a lot, just bring the knees back down and just start to get comfortable lifting the knees for a moment or two and then bringing them back down. So, shoulders away from ears. If your shoulders are hunching, I want you to use your triceps, push into the palms of the hands. Walk your toes a little closer. The idea here is to get your hips over your head, and if you're feeling daring, you can bring your right elbow to the back of your right tricep and your left elbow to the back of the left tricep, and then you can get your toes to connect and lift them up. There you go. The elbows sometimes want to go wide. Don't let them. That's it, David. Beautiful. Make sure the knees are connected to the elbows first. So please don't hesitate to pause and look if you're feeling confused. I can help you out here. There you go. Nice, Christy. There it is. If you need a spot, I got you. Good. So again, make sure your hands are a little further back. So Kristen and Audrey, hands a little further back. There you go. And then make sure you're pulling your shoulders away from the ears, tuck the toes, lift the tail. And initially, sometimes it's really less physical and more just kind of fear that keeps us from getting our hips all the way over the head. It can feel like you're about to roll over, and that's okay. Pause right on your edge and maintain. There you go, Nicole. There it is. Nice, Sammy. Beautiful integrity. Keep the elbows hugging in. Keep the elbows hugging in. You got it. That's it. Trust your strength here. Gorgeous. Sometimes it's helpful to practice if you're going all the way up. Some of you are lifting your hips up. Sometimes it's comfortable if you're at home to practice against a wall as you work on this. If you have lifted your legs up, that's great. Maintain. To come out of it, you'll end up tucking your knees back into your chest. Try to reconnect them to your elbows, and then come on back. Very nice. There it is. Yay. Wow. Good job. Shoulders away from ears. You've got it. Really nice work, everybody. That's great. So again, if you're at home, practice against a wall if you're going to go all the way up. But the key to a lot of these postures is just getting comfortable shifting your weight forward and getting the hips a little higher than you think they can go, and just slowly easing your way in that direction. Just roll out your neck a little bit there. As you start to get comfortable putting pressure on your neck, it's so important to work on your shoulder girdle, keeping space in the neck, and just taking the time to release. Great work. Let's roll over onto our backs, please. Facing the back of the room, and just hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little back release here. Just roll around, squeeze the knees in. Just a little bit more conditioning in the core. I'd like you to reach your legs up to the ceiling. Flex the ankles, please. Reach your heels toward the ceiling. It's my favorite little core workout. I probably do it in almost every class. I'd like you to just lift the heels until you feel your lower core turn on. And then just bring your hands in a prayer, reach up for your toes until your shoulder blades lift up off the floor. Not a long set today, just going for quality over quantity. If this is a lot on your neck, you can alternate bringing one hand behind your head at a time. Lift through the heels, lift the upper body, and just tiny pulses, 2 sets here. Pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stay high on the 1. Just bring the left heel to 1 inch off the ground. You can have your legs straight. You also can have your knee bent in. I recommend having it as long and straight as you can. And then again, reach up to your right toes and just tiny pulses for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scissor switch the legs, right heel to 1 inch off the ground. Lift up to the left toes. Pulse for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Both legs up on the 1. Then bring the knees back into the chest. Rock the head back and forth, left and right. Good. And then my personal favorite also are eagle abs. I'd like you to wrap your right leg up and over and then try and cross twist at the ankles. Take your arms, wrap your right arm underneath your left, cross at the elbows, try to get the palms to connect. Very much like eagle pose. We want to have the elbows and the knees in a straight line. Start by curling in. Lift the head up off the mat. Try to connect the elbows and the knees. And then lengthen the body. So reach the toes toward the back of the room and reach your arms overhead, but try not to let your head reach the mat. Feel some engagement here. Then squeeze in and open. That's 2. Just 5 of these. So squeeze in, make them count. And lengthen. 2 more, squeeze in. And open. Really try and find some length. Last one, squeeze in. And open. Yay. Then come back to center. Just give your knees a little squeeze. Unwrap. You can let your head relax. And we'll just switch sides. Wrap the left leg up and over the right. Cross twist at the ankles. Left arm underneath the right. Cross twist at the elbows. Palms connect. First, take the time to squeeze in. So try not to avoid the shake. Try and stay in the shake right there. And then lengthen the body. Reach the toes back. Reach the arms overhead. And squeeze it in. And lengthen. And squeeze it in. Lengthen, find as much length as you can, stretch it out. Squeeze it in, just 2 more. Lengthen it out. And hug it in. Last one, lengthen it out. And hug it in. Good, and then release, knees come in. Shake the head out, left and right, side to side. Lift your forehead up towards your knees. And then stretch the body really long. Reach your arms over your head. Reach your toes toward the back wall. Let the lower back just bubble up, bridge up. Great. Feet together, flex your feet. We're going to turn this into our transitional setup. Link the thumbs. Take a big inhale. And double exhale. Dive for the ceiling, dive for the toes. And take a moment in your forward fold. Good. And then let's flip over onto our downward facing dog. So just flip right on over, down dog. So these are some of my favorite transitions, some of my favorite core exercises as well. I'm just sharing them all today. So you keep pushing out of the shoulder. Just get a strong down dog here to begin with. It's a little variation of your knee to nose. So start by just inhaling the right leg up and back. We'll put it together, we'll see what our bodies can do, and then we'll take it into just a short flow. Exhale, knee to nose. Shift the weight forward, shoulders over knees. Try to make the contact. Then inhale the right leg up and back. And bring the knee to the right elbow. Give it a tap. And then inhale the right leg up and back. And then when you bring the knee to the left elbow, try and stay there. You could stay here. This is plenty. Otherwise, try and plant your back left sole of the foot on the mat. Extend your right leg out to the side and plant your right foot on the mat. Left arm up. So it starts here, okay? Turn it into a little bit of a wild thing. You can try to drive the hips up, reach the arm forward. Feel a little side stretch here. Then bring the left arm back up to the sky. Lower the hips just a little bit. And if you'd like, you can really hug your right femur into the hip socket, flex your foot, and try and lift your right heel up off the mat. Woo! There it is. Right heel, John. Yeah, I know. There. Then plant the left foot onto the mat. Extend the right leg up and back. Open up the right hip. Bend the right knee. Drop the right heel towards the floor if you can. You can also just keep the knee open. Arm reaches up to the sky. And if you'd like, drive the hips up and reach the arm forward. This is like a little bit of a back bend here. I'd like you to really push in to the ball of your right foot as well as the knife edge of the left foot. Really open up, reach for the floor. Good, then lower the hips a bit and reach our arm back up to the sky. Place your right hand on the mat, three-legged dog. Inhale the right leg up and back. And then just back to downward facing dog. Good, then inhale left leg up and back. Exhale, forehead. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to the right elbow. Again, you can stay here. Otherwise, sole the right foot connects to the mat. Extend the left leg long. Plant the outside edge of your left foot on the mat initially. And extend the right arm up. So really focus on hugging the left shoulder blade down the back. This can be plenty. If you want to drive into the feet, lift the hips so the pelvis is open to the ceiling for the most part. Right arm reaches forward. Nice big side stretch here. Focus on that left shoulder, hugging down the back. Lift the left heel up off the mat if you can. So in this, it's a lot of inner thigh, deep core strength here. Flex your left ankle, really lift through the heel. And wherever you're at, let's swivel back. Right hand to the mat. Left leg comes up and back. And then open up, bend the left knee. This is fine if you want to stay here, otherwise plant the left foot on the mat, the left arm comes up to the sky, drive the hips up, and reach forward. Yeah, good. These look amazing. Focus on the stability of your right shoulder blade. If you're hugging your shoulder up into your ear, I'd like you to lower your hips and focus more on your shoulder stability here. Good, then bring the hips down a bit. Left hand plants back onto the mat, three-legged dog first. And then bring the left foot back to the mat. Little wrist release here. I'd like you to walk your hands all the way back towards the back of the mat. Ragdoll pose. Just take a moment, take some of the pressure off your wrists. Let your upper body sway left and right, side to side. Sometimes it's fun to just explore our mobility wherever it is for the day. So please try and find the version of those postures that are accessible to you and just work your edge. Don't feel pressure to go further. We'll start putting that together with just a little bit of flow. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. You can bring your hands behind the back if you choose. Interlace all 10 fingers to reach the knuckles up and gently forward. And then take your clasped hands, bring them to your low back first. Release them back down toward the mat. And then just walk your hands forward back into a downward facing dog. So just getting comfortable walking up and down the mat into a down dog and out of down dog. That alone is great conditioning for handstands, headstands. So when you're down dog, just take a big inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, right leg up and back. Knee to the left elbow, plant the foot, extend the left arm up, and then reach up and over. Good. Whoops. And then reach the left hand back up to the sky, plant it back on the mat. Inhale, right leg up and back. Bend the right knee, plant the right foot behind your body, extend the right arm up and back. Really find that huge back bend. Good, lower the hips. Plant the right hand on the mat. Inhale, right leg up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Extend the left leg long. Plant the foot. Drive the hips up. Open up. Right arm up to the sky and forward. Lower the hips. Right hand to the mat. Left leg extends back. Open up the left hip. Drop the left foot behind you. Drive the hips up. Left arm comes up and over. Good. Lower the hips. Hand to the sky. Left hand on the mat. Three-legged dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up and back. Knee to elbow. Plant the foot. You can even let it hover if you choose. You can drive the hips up. And then lower the hips, left hand to the sky. Plant the left palm, right leg up and back. Open up the hips, bring some beauty into it. Find some expression in the postures for your body. Lower the hips, hand to the mat, right leg up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to the left elbow, then extend the left leg long, right arm to the sky. Drive the hips up. And then reach back up, hand to the mat, left leg comes up and back, open the hip, bend the left knee, drop the left foot behind your body, left arm reaches up and over. Great work, everybody. And then reach back up, hips lower, left hand to the mat, three-legged dog, and downward facing dog. Take a breath here, big inhale, and exhale. Bring the knees to the mat. Sit back onto the heels. Take a moment. Relax the shoulders. You guys want to try a headstand today? Who's up for it? I'd like you to just find you're all warmed up for it is the thing. So just try and find the setup today for your body. No need to go upside down. I'm not a fan of going upside down until you're fully ready to go. So just think about the base today. Let's give it a go. We'll give it one chance, and then we'll move on. So we'll set up the exact same way we set up a tripod headstand. Remember where the top of your head is. Hold on to opposite elbows. And you don't want to let your elbows go wider. If you've got a lot of muscle in your upper body, chances are your elbows want to feel like they're going wider. Try to plant them in. Notice if your shoulders want to hunch, pull them down away from the ears. Release the elbows. Interlace all 10 fingers. Open the hands. That's the cradle for the back of the head. So if this is new to you, I recommend watching first. I want you to tuck your chin, place the top of the head into the mat. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. I'm not going to go all the way upside down. I'm just going to focus on tucking the toes, lifting the tail, and making sure I can lift my head up off the mat. This is the very first conditioning. You could even do that while your knees are on the mat. Just make sure you got the strong shoulder strength here, because the key is to not put a lot of weight in your head like you do in a tripod headstand. So if this is where you're at, again, focus on shoulders away from ears and the tuck at the chin. If you're feeling a little bit more daring, you can just focus on bringing the toes in closer to the body until the hips feel like they're getting high and the toes start to feel light. And then initially just bring one toe up off the mat, heel toward the hip to begin with. And then eventually you can just be in a little crouched position. So again, don't be in any hurry to go upside down. Focus on getting the hips all the way over the shoulders, shoulders away from ears. And again, one heel. And if you're feeling like you want to go all the way upside down, I'll come and spot you, but just focus on seeing what you can do today. So again, elbows in, tuck the chin, top of the head onto the mat. Yep, make sure your shoulders are pulling away from the ears. Tuck your toes and then lift your hips up. Yes, if you've got really lengthy hamstrings, that'll be easy, but if you're tight, you're gonna feel a little bit of tightness, that's okay. Yeah, and just get comfortable pulling shoulders away from ears. Exactly, there it is. Exactly, this is so good. And that very first step for some of you is making sure you can really get the pressure of your head up off the floor. If you're taking too much of it in your head and you feel like, oh, my neck is feeling crunchy, please back up a step. You got it, Mia. So initially, heel to butt, stay there. And then, you okay? Yeah. Okay, good. That was a thud. Come on up, you got it. There it is, beautiful work, beautiful work. Yes. Yep, don't go up. So the key is to not be in any rush to get the legs up into the air. I want you to just get comfortable being in that crouched position, okay? Yay, for you too, Dana. I'm just gonna support the hips here, bring you just a little further forward. Yep, don't lift the legs up, just knee to chest, knee to chest, knee to chest. Yes, that's it. Yes, like that. Sometimes it can feel like a game of Twister when you're upside down. You hear the cues and you're like, what is happening, right? So just be willing to take it step by step. Does that feel okay? Can you keep the weight out of your head? All right, that's how it starts. Nice, Marissa, nice, Leslie, beautiful work. Keep pushing down into the hands. I'm here. Yep, yep, yep. And I'm just holding onto your hips just a little bit. It's all good, it's all good. Again, something that's comfortable. It's kind of nice to do this against a wall just so you have safety, but there's no rush. Look at you, Steph. Nice work, everybody. Point the toes, beautiful Deb. These look great. Nice, Sammy. Ribs pulled in. And then coming down with great control. Whew, that's a lot. Sit on down. Oh, let's just slide onto our bellies. Slide onto the belly here. Hands underneath the shoulders. Let's just get a Sphinx pose in. So I'd like you to just put your elbows on the mat, forearms parallel to the left and right side of your mat. Not hunching in the shoulders. Lift on out. Relax your butt. If you're squeezing your butt, trying to use your legs, don't. Just let it go. Try and push into the elbows only and just feel a little bit of compression in the lower back. You're looking for just a little sensation of compression. You can look up. I know for some bodies this might not be enough. You're welcome to straighten the arms, but if you are doing so, don't overdo it, right? Just a gentle opening. Yes, there we go. Just gazing up, make sure your shoulders are pulled away from the ears. And then come on down. Chin on the mat, arms at side. Bring your right arm out to the right, palm facing down. Place your left palm underneath your left shoulder like a little elbow. If you touch your neighbor, it's okay, we're all friends here. And then roll over. So if you've got really tight shoulders, the reality is bringing your arm slightly down in a diagonal is gonna feel more comfortable. If you're super open, you can cactus the arm, but just find the angle that works for you and just, yeah, there you go, Christy. Just open up. Yes. Bend your left leg and place your left toes behind you to support you. Yeah, so the idea is you're feeling a stretch across the front side of your chest, your collarbone. Yeah, for some bodies, interlacing the hands behind your back is sometimes accessible, but that's certainly not the objective here. The objective is just feeling an opening through the right side here. A lot on the shoulders today. And then use your breath. Take a big inhale, create space. Go a little deeper on the exhale. Good, and just roll over onto your belly. If your hips swiveled left or right, try and center them again. And this time place your left arm out to the left. Once you're ready, right hand underneath the right shoulder. And then use your right hand to just roll over on your left side. Yep, use your right foot behind you to support you. Excellent. Palm face down. Everybody's just a little bit different in their flexibility here, so please just be careful with your neck. For most bodies, it's okay to let your head relax down, but if it's not, it's okay to lift it up too. And just take some time here, really just nurturing the shoulder, especially if this is new stuff for your body, right? You want to take the time to just see how it's registering. Check in with how you're feeling in your head and your shoulder. With these postures again, I recommend coming back to them time and time again and really just be willing to stay on your edge, but try not to go past that point where you're feeling comfortable unless you have a spot or a wall there. But really, strength does build little by little. Take a big inhale and exhale. Very empowering postures. See what your body can do. Roll over onto your belly, please. Place your chin on the mat. And then just place your hands down by your sides, palms facing up. And bend your knees. We'll just do one floor bow. Hold on to the feet from the outside. Exhale all the air out of the lungs. And just find your back bend. Inhale. Kick into the posture. Look up. Go up. Rock the way forward. Use that glute strength to open up. Kick into the hands. And then come on down. Release. Keep your chin on the mat. We'll just push back into a child's pose. Hands and knees position. Rock back. Knees wide. Toes touch. Great work today, everybody. Take a big inhale. And exhale. Good. And then just flipping over on our back for a happy baby pose. You can come through an all fours position. Just flip right on over. Hold on to your feet from the inside. Stack your ankles over your knees. And hold on to the feet from the arch side of the foot. It's important here you pull down on the feet and kick up into the hands. Yeah. And it's super important we have the ankles stacked right over the knees. That way you're not putting any lateral pressure. And sometimes you can't really tell from that angle you're looking. So just bringing the knees in, or rather the heels in just a bit, so that way you're pulling down and kicking up simultaneously. And the pressure should make you feel like you're lengthening your spine against the mat. Even if the whole spine doesn't connect to the mat, that's okay. Heels out just a bit. You did awesome. Good, then release the tension from the pose. Extend the legs long, dead pose just for a moment. Bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little back release first. And then place your feet flat on the floor at hip width apart, ready for a bridge pose. If you really want to do a wheel, go ahead. We've done a lot on our shoulders today, so I recommend a bridge pose. Fingertips graze the backs of the heels for bridge. Tuck the tailbone, and then just drive the hips up one vertebra at a time. Use your glute strength here to come into the posture. Yay, Mia's going for it. If you notice you tug back on the heels a bit, it'll activate your hamstrings and your back body. Some people are ready for it. And think about working your chest toward your chin rather than chin to chest. If you want a little bit more, you can keep your elbows where they're at. Just bend the elbows, reach the fingertips toward the sky, and push into the triceps and elbows to open up just a little bit more. Whatever's healthy for you here. And then walk it out. If you're in a wheel, chin to chest, come down one vertebra at a time. Bring the knees in, and dead pose. Yeah, just give yourself a little back release here by having a dead pose, not bringing the knees into the chest yet. And then bring your knees in the chest here. And before we do our twist, just working a figure four stretch. So bend the right knee, place the outside of your right ankle on the top of your left knee. This is a lot on the knees. Make sure you're flexing at the ankles. I recommend interlacing the fingers behind your left thigh. So thread your right hand between your legs toward the back of the thigh. Left hand comes to the outside of the left thigh. Interlace the fingers and gently pull your knee closer to the body. Everybody needs a little something different here. For some bodies, it's more helpful to interlace around the front of the left shin. And for some, it's helpful to place your right elbow inside your right knee and gently draw your knee away from your body as you pull the left knee close to your body. Notice if the right side of your sacrum has lifted up off the mat. Aim for having both sides of the back equally supported by the mat. Gently pull the knee a little closer to the body. With the sacrum connected to the mat, gently draw the legs slightly over to the left. And we'll turn this into our twist. Stay exactly as you are. You can release the hands, but let the knees drop over to the left side. Place your left hand on top of your right knee. Extend your right arm out to the right. Take the variation of the twist that's healthy for you. Your legs will be wrapped if you stay in the figure four. Keep the breath moving through the whole shape here. And come right back to center. Squeeze the right knee back into the chest. And just release it all the way down. And then just switch sides, knees come in. Bend the left knee, place the outside of your left ankle on top of your right knee. Thread the hands behind the right thigh. Just take the same variation you did on the other side. Notice if you're a little tighter on one side versus the other. That's okay. Just try to keep your practice symmetrical as best as possible. Just continuously applying pressure, pulling the knee closer to the body, and just playing around with those little micro movements to find it in just the right spot. Relax the head, relax the jaw. Keep the breath moving. And then turn this into your twist. Let the knees drop down to the right side of the body. Let the left arm extend out to the left. Switch the gaze over to the left side and twist. Try to keep your eyes open for the remainder of class until the very end, just present with your practice. Notice where you're feeling this twist in the body. Really amazing work, everybody. Thank you for trying something new, being open to a new kind of practice around here. Everyone did awesome today. Make sure this is the twist that serves your body. Come back to center, please. You can hug the left knee in. You can bring both knees in. Just give yourself the last little back release that you need. Forehead to the knees. And then release into your dead pose. Extend the legs long, arms down by your sides initially, palms facing up. Close your eyes. And just take a moment. Trying new things in our body, sort of wake up new sensations, new narratives in our head. Whatever has woken up today, whatever it might be, just know that it's perfect, but that the work is done, that you did an amazing job today, and just let your relaxed mind and your relaxed body receive the benefit of the hard work you've done. If you'd like, I invite you to end the class the way we began it, placing your left hand over your heart, your right hand just below your navel, just for a moment. Try to feel your breath in both hands and the belly and the chest, rising and falling. And just sending a little message of appreciation and gratitude to yourself, to your body, to your being, for being here, for doing the work, taking care of yourself. And we'll close with one breath. Take a big inhale. And release. You can keep your hands as they are, let them down by your sides, whatever's more comfortable. Just give yourself a moment. You worked hard for it. No matter what our practice is, it's intended to challenge the mind, challenge the body, but to work it out. We work hard so that we can let it go. So always giving ourselves time for ease and release, letting the postures leave the body, and ideally feeling some space. Thank you all for sharing your energy, your practice with us. As always, stay in your dead pose as long as you need. And namaste.